G'day and welcome to my latest training video. I am your host Noppers, and today I am excited to provide you with an extensive walkthrough on a really interesting and different game known as Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. This particular game builds on the success of the original Mount and Blade released in 2008 and the more successful expansion called Warband from March 2010. Conveniently, you don't have to know a single thing about any of that. Bannerlord here is a sequel, but anything that happened in the previous games is entirely irrelevant. Ergo, players new to the series or genre can step right into Bannerlord and be hit, punched, stabbed, shot, clubbed and so on like the rest of us. The game is a mixture of campaign map activity in an open world setting, as well as immersion activities like castles, cities, taverns and of course battles like this one. You can play it in a role-playing sense, or you can play it in the more traditional hack and slash style and ignore most of the role-playing elements. Somewhat like a few of the other games around at the moment, For Honor, Conqueror's Blade and so on. Although this is an early access game, it is constantly being updated by the developers, Tale Worlds Entertainment. As you can also hear in the introduction, the music is well suited for the game style. It's a bit Conan the Barbarian and pretty cool, and the soundtrack will play throughout my videos. There is also a massive modding community with mods in the hundreds to explore and try out. If you're after a quick 10-minute explanation of the game, you've probably come to the wrong place. These first two videos I have will cover everything from initial startup and setup right through to the establishment of your clan. The total record time is about an hour or so. I'll timestamp various parts of each video so that you can pick and choose what you want more easily. I think that will do us for the moment. We've hacked and slashed our way into this castle here, albeit with a few less hit points than we'd like, but I did manage to kick a guy or two off this rampart, which is just fun and also maybe slightly mean. Anyway, how good is that? On with the show, I think. Good luck to you all. Righto, this is the dashboard. This is where you actually start the game from, and I'm just going to show you quickly in here the mods section. What's this about? So you'll see that there's 5 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that have got a brown square unclickable. That's the Tale Worlds modules that you can't touch. The rest of them here are ones that I've downloaded from a website. I'll put it in the comment section of the video. I've got none selected here for this particular video because I'm doing a vanilla version, but these are mods that I might like to use. Now, as we start the game up, what I'm going to tell you about those mods is it's early access, and mods are mods, which means they're outside of the terms of the actual game itself, and they may cause conflict. While the developers want you to explore that and the community to explore mods, you will get crashes, and some of those mods at the moment are actually causing crashes for whatever reason. So I'm not going to run them anyway, but I just want you to know that there are so many mods out there to choose from, but you run the risk of actually having problems trying to load the game, and you might have to fault find your way through it. Here we are now coming into the main screen, and I'm going to quickly show you the options section before we go any further. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the setup here, not too much though, because it is very much specific to what your system is. Now, I'm running a Ryzen 5 3600 processor. I built my computer last year, but I've got an NVIDIA 1060 6GB graphics card that I purchased about 3 years ago or so. So my graphics card's a little bit behind what my processor is. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to actually see in my performance section here that I've pretty much got everything set to fairly high, if not top end quality, with the exception of certain things like the shadow quality. I've always been told to increase your frame rate to reduce your shadows, and what else we got here? A little bit of stuff on particles I've dropped down just to try and get some extra frames. But as I said, this stuff is dependent upon your system, and you need to actually go in and explore it yourself by hovering over stuff, and also Google it and look at what might work and might not work. There are plenty of guides out there about this sort of stuff. I'm not going to go through it line by line. It'll take an hour worth of video in itself. Audio, I've turned the music off. I've got the effects set as it is there. The only other thing that I wanted to show you in here is in the gameplay section, show banners on friendly troops. What does this mean? All of my troops are going to have a disc with my insignia, I guess you could call it, above their heads. But it takes away a little bit of the immersiveness for those that are really looking for that good battlefield immersiveness. The trouble is, if you don't have it there and you've got troops that look similar to yours, or even remotely close with old eyes like mine, it's hard to work out who to hit. So I have that set on and I just deal with it as it is. Back on the main screen now, we're going to start our campaign, and as we go into these next few screens, they are our setup screens for our character. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons where you're rolling your stats for your character, except you get to pick different things and they give you particular attributes. This first screen is the culture screen, and it is the 6 cultures, or factions as most people call them, that are in the game. So Vlandians, for example here, gives you this bonus. Britanians give you this bonus. No matter which one of these you choose, you start in the same spot, which is in a training field around the center of the map. So it doesn't matter which one of these you choose at the start, because you're going to start in the same spot anyway. The second thing is, no matter which one of these you do choose, you're not aligned to them in any way. You just get this bonus. So if I want to pick the Vlandians and go and play Vlandians and get their troops and align with their faction and do all that sort of stuff, well, yes, I can do that. But if I want to pick Vlandians here and align with the Britanians later, it's irrelevant what I've picked here. So I'm going to pick the Vlandians because it's a good starting one for a brand new player, 20% upgrade to troop experience, and we'll talk about that later. The next screen is your character creation screen, and let me tell you, there's very few games that have this many options. So you can literally change every little piece about yourself. Pick your favorite hairdo, pick all of your teeth types, for God's sake. What's that all about? And markings and all sorts of stuff. And you can make yourself look pretty cool, male or female, it doesn't matter. And so you've also got the option here of randomizing. And if you screw it up, you can start again, I guess. And it's great. I just love the fact that you've got so many options here. And so I'm just going to roll something very quickly. Let's have a bit of a look. This guy looks like a bit of a ladies' man, doesn't he? He looks like he's been beaten up. There's Red Foo. Okay, cool. There we go. That's what I look like with a mustache, isn't it? All right. So I'll make myself nice and tall, and I'll give myself a cool voice. Okay, let's make that high. Oops, sounds like his pants are too tight. Let's go this one. Yeah, look at that. Nice, meaty, chunky one. And we'll click next. And I'm going to go into this a little bit and talk about what we've got on the screen here. These 6 headings are your attributes, character stats, effectively. And each of them has a base level start of 2. Underneath each attribute are focus areas. So under Vigor, Vigor tells me it's for melee combat. And then I've got one-handed, two-handed, and polearm as options for focus underneath. We'll get to explaining all of this later when we actually have our character there and I can talk through that particular screen. But for now, let's just assume that you need to hover over these and get a bit of an understanding of what they do, and then kind of try and work out where you want to spend points. And it's a bit hard when you've never played before because you might not understand what some of this stuff does. I probably still don't understand what some of it does. I just assume it. These things all level up as you do stuff. So as an example, as you're riding around, you'll level up and get experience on riding. As you're shooting a bow, you'll get experience on bow. What I care about the most, I care about Steward at the start of the game in particular, because that's going to give me more standing army, as in I'm going to have more troops in my army as I run around later on. So I want Steward points, and if I put more in intelligence as well, it means that this row here is going to go up faster. It has more of a multiplier effectively. So these are the ones I like to focus on. This stuff here, I'll start using a one-handed sword and a polearm as quick as possible, particularly the polearm on horse, which means it'll level up quick. So I'm not too worried about putting points into there now, but I need to have the ability to level it up. Bow's the same. Charm and leadership and trade, that get used fairly early as well and frequently, so that's important for me. That's the way I look at it. How do you get that stuff now? Well, as I said, it's like rolling your characters before. So you go and pick these, and you can see here it tells you down the bottom what you're going to get for each one. So I'm going to look at probably putting some in social. Let's see what we got. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Trade and charm. And I'm going to have urban merchants. There we go. My 60s parents are there. 1 point in intelligence, which means that will increase my skills in that area too. Click next, and we go through this now, and we kind of pick where we want to land with stuff. Yeah, that one with horses sounds good. Happy with that. More horses. Yeah, look at that. Caring for horses gives me a steward point. I want that. Lots about horses though, so I'm the best rider ever. And what else do we want to do here? No more horses. I've had enough of you. Join the skirmishes. What do we got there? Could put some points up there, I suppose. Really don't want any more horse points. I'm not going to bother about crossbow stuff. Yeah, maybe a bit up there to give me some boost in my hand-to-hand combat early. That's probably useful. I treated people well because I want another, look at that, another steward point straight away. Happy with that. And what else did I do? Rode off on a fast horse? No. Seems to be a lot of focus on horses, doesn't there? Organised travellers to break out. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my points up in charm and leadership. Why not? And I'll be ultra original here and call myself Noppers so that I know who I am. And I'm going to put all of these to realistic. And I'll leave recruitment easy so you can see how that works. And I would set all of these if I were you at very easy if you've never played before. Combat AI difficulty, veteran. Yeah, veteran, why not? I don't want to die too much in this video actually. I'll put it on to normal. And this stuff here, yeah, okay, enable death, obvious. Auto allocate clan member perks. If you don't want to worry about that stuff early on, you don't touch it for a while. It's probably useful to tick that and let it do it automatically, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to leave it unchecked. So here we go, starting to level in, and we come into the tutorial section, and we're talking to our brother, hey man, and we're going to continue the tutorial because I'm going to walk through this. It tells me straight away on the right there what to do, so I'm going to move around a little bit. And on the top left, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to do in this area down each of these pathways in front of us. So you can see there, that one's range stuff, that one's horses, and that one's melee weapons. That's kind of the exit, I guess, but you can hold the tab key and that actually gets you out of here. So let's go down the melee section first. The shift key is what I'm using there to zoom in by holding it. You can hear those guys fighting over the side there and you can see what they're doing. Good hack and slash. So we come in here and we can either pick up a two-handed sword or a sword and board. And we're going to do that with the F key. We'll walk in here and we go to the trainer like it tells me up the top. And he tells me to defend from the left. So I've just hit my right mouse button there. And you can see the white arrow on the screen. Let's get that so you can see it. It means I swept the mouse like it's indicated on the screen to get the defense on that side. So now if I do the right mouse button from the other way, oops, let's see if I can get this right. And I hate doing this, I really do. So it's telling me to hold the mouse button and sweep to the right. There we go. See how that is? Now if I hold the mouse button, sweep up. There you go. And hold the mouse button, sweep down. Like I said, hold the mouse button and sweep down. There we go. And there. And where it's telling me how to do that is the white arrow. So I know I've got it right when the white arrow is in the right area. So it's telling me attack from the left. So attack from the left, I'm going to sweep that way. There we go. And attack from the right, so I'm going to sweep right. So I'm holding the left mouse button there and I'm swinging my mouse across. See, I'm swinging that way. So holding the left mouse button there and swinging that way, and that's giving me the attack in the correct direction. So if I go upwards and then pull down, sorry, let's try that again. That's attack up, there we go. And then I go downwards and push up. Downwards and push up. No, missed him. There we go, got it right. I don't like doing this static stuff. It annoys the hell out of me because I always screw it up. But anyway, that bit's done. Let's move on to the next sections, shall we? And the next section, we'll grab a sword and board again. And we're going to go in here and we're going to have a talk to old mate. Well, stand here effectively. Fight will start in a few seconds. And this, I'm going to just hold my shield up here and you can see where I'm defending as he attacks at me. And he can come from different sides and we can kite him a bit. And I've got to make sure I'm blocking the correct direction as he swings at me. Now, what you do is you get ready and as soon as he hits me, I'm going to swing my sword somehow and try and get around his shield. There we go. No, I got his shield. So back up with the shield, right mouse button, holding, and here we go, son. But you got to make sure he doesn't hit you. So you got to wait and there, attack and then counter attack. And come on, hit me again. No, I'm going to go for up. See, but I left my guard down there and he attacked in that gap. And you got to be careful. Here we go. He'll counter. Got him with the other side. Get him in that way. Get him that way. No. No, can't seem to get through his defense. So let him sit for a minute. Here, have a swing, mate. Bang, now. There we go. Sit. Oh, got him a good one then. Let him swing. Yep. Hold, let him swing. Come on, swing, mate. Come on, have a go. Have a go. Nah, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. So I'll give him a kick. You ready? E key. And put the shield up, make him swing at you, and then come back in with a bit more of an attack. Nah, he's going to hit me. Oh, got him. Kick him again. Yeah, E key. Kick him again. Nah. Oh yeah, there we go. We got through his guard, and now it's time to hit the other guy. So we get the rookie. This guy's the veteran. He's got a two-handed sword. He's got a longer reach than me, but he's got very little defense except his sword. And so you'll find you tend to hit him a bit more. Yep. You got to be careful here. There we go. Come on. Oh yeah, that was a good kill. That was very. I like that one. That was good. All right, other weapons you've got here to play with if you want to have a go. You can do the two-handed sword, and you can do, I guess this is a pike of some sort. I haven't actually been able to work out what it's called when it's got that knob on the end. I googled it. If someone could put it in the comments, that'd be great. But we're going to run out of here now, and we're going to go to the next section, which will be the archery section, I think, or the range section. So here we are running into the range section, and we've got a few options for range. So I'm going to just pick up the bow and arrow, which is the standard that you'll often start with. And we'll walk up here, and you can see on the screen in front of me there's a white circle with a crosshair in it. Now at the moment it's just a nice tight white circle. As I hold the left mouse button, you see it goes wider and then smaller, and then if I keep holding it, look at my arm shaking. It means it stops being able to be held straight and it starts to wobble, and that means wherever that circle is the zone the arrow is going to impact in. So if I hold the right mouse button now, I can deselect shooting that arrow and wasting it, because at the bottom right there you can see I've got 25 arrows. That's all I'll have in my quiver. So here I go. I'm going to just do a straight up shot. Bam, there we go, and we'll do another one. Now I'm going to shoot at, let's say, the top of that tree, and I want you to see arrow drop or bullet drop. So quickly shooting, and see how it falls down and it comes down and it almost hits the bottom of the tree. So over range, those arrows are going to drop further. So let's see if I can hit something that's a bit more obvious. Maybe that tree up there. Aim for it directly. There goes the arrow dropping down, hit the ground over there. So that's bow and arrow and how it works. If I'm moving when I'm holding this as well, see there's a huge circle. Where's it going to go? Yeah, miles. Oh, actually it wasn't too bad, was it? That one went kooky. Alright, next weapon, crossbow. So we bring this puppy in, and it's got one loaded. It's got 21 bolts, and I'm going to shoot it again, but this time watch how it goes. Straight in. Now I'm going to shoot at the top of that tree, but first of all I've got to hold the mouse button in to reload. See, it goes pretty straight, and then it falls away after a fair distance out. So you've got to just remember with the crossbow, you've got to load the bloody thing each time, because you'll forget. Crossbow's not too bad. It's got a bit of punch in it, but it's got that reload, which is a bit frustrating. Okay, the last one is javelin. Now look at the bottom right. I've only got 4 javelins. Why is that important? Well, javelins are a pretty hard hitting weapon, but they're only short range and you don't get to carry many. And also you've got 4 weapon slots on your character, and the bow and arrow take 2. So quiver of arrows in the bow, that's 2 slots. The crossbow and bolts quiver, that's 2 slots. Javelins, 1 slot. So I could take javelins, a lance, a shield, and a sword, and I've got 3 weapon options there. Whereas if I've got a bow and arrow, I could only have a lance and shield, or a sword and shield, or no shield at all. Javelins have an advantage, disadvantage in that way. So they've got less of them, but you only have to carry 1 set. And when I throw it, I'm aiming here. It doesn't, the circle doesn't really change. But if I go for something further out, whoops, well, you saw how that one dropped away. See how that drops away? So you've got to actually aim higher early. And there we go. We've just got to be aware of that. I've reloaded in javelins because this is training. You don't get that option. It's once you throw them all, they're gone. So just keep that in mind with javelins, that you know you've only got a few and they have a short range. They're great for arenas and a bit of horseback stuff when you want to throw a javelin like 10 feet in front of you. Otherwise, bow and arrow is probably better for things, especially for things like castle sieges. Okay, time to go run and look at some horses, I think. So down this way we go, and we're going to do some mounted combat and run the course that's here, and mounted spear training. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your time in battles, is on horseback, unless you like foot combat. You're going to spend a lot of time on horseback, and you're going to be stabbing things and running through and flanking and all sorts of cool stuff, and we'll see that later. For now, the way you move your horse is the same as the rest of your character, WASD, but on a horse you've also got the option of doing a kickstart. Like if you double tap and hold the W key, you kick your horse and G it up and run straight away. So I'll do it now. See that little kick? And if I double tap and hold the S key, it stops me quick. Whereas if I just press and hold the W key to move forward, it's a normal run up. Now I'm holding the left mouse, hit some targets. Here's the left mouse again, and I've missed it. Oops. Good training video, this one. And you run along and do this and aim at different spots, and wherever I point my mouse is where that's going to go. And the other thing I've got to remember here is, remember, as I said, pointing your mouse. If I'm getting shot at on horseback, I can put up my shield. So just right mouse button, put up my shield, but it means your weapon's not up. The other thing you've got, of course, is first person. If you like this, it's a bit hard for the training video. We're going to do a bit though. And see, you can see where it's pointed. It takes a bit of getting used to this sort of stuff. Running into poles. Let's turn this sucker around. Ooh, got that one. Good one. The beauty of riding a horse with a pike like this, or a spear or something, you have reach. A little bit of a jump. Let's go back to this. A little bit of a jump there with the space bar. You've got reach. So someone with a sword can't hit you as quick as you can hit them at range. So that's the point of the spear, is you get out wide like this and you do that sort of stuff and hit people. I missed that one obviously. So that you're not getting hit on your horse, but they're getting nailed. They're getting nailed by your spear before they're able to hit you and do anything to you. So that's quite important, a learning skill there. The other things you've got to use here, you can use your bow from a horse, and we could probably just have a look at that, can't we? So let's get on and have a look. You've got to have the right type of bow to do this. So we'll see how the circle never really shrinks because you're moving. So you've got to keep that in mind as you're going along. Whereas if you stop the horse, quick stop. Alright, I'll just right click out of that. See how I've got a nice small circle until... Anyway, that'll do for now on the horseback stuff. Let's go and look at some other things. Actually, I think it's time to head out of the course, isn't it? So let's do that. So we've hit the tab key and held it, and we've left the course, and it's taken us to this training area. As I said, you've got the option of going back in. We're not going to do that. We're going to click leave. We're going to let the quest stuff in the background here do its thing. Lots of noises, and get some obvious information to help you out. And we'll close off the tutorial stuff because I'm just going to talk through it. So here's me on my horse, standing here in the middle of a paddock. And as I look around, I'm using the right mouse button here to look around at stuff. But what I will do is I will just scroll backwards, full mouse, and go all the way out. There is the map, and I can use the WASD keys to move around in it like this. My head's always there. Look at that legendary mustache. And they are all the factions, all the different colors of the different factions. I won't go through them right now. As I zoom in, you can see that we've got quite a bit of terrain to run around. And so it's pretty good like that. And you will find yourself traveling across the map a bit. Points of note. Let's start with the first thing, which is right next to us. Or first of all, ourselves. We've got our army. And we've got 2 people in it at the moment. And that's me and my brother, because it's the training mission. Over to the right here, we've got a random party of people running around. And you can see, because they're close enough, we get information on them. If I go over to these guys here, see it's just a question mark. These guys here have info, and I can hold the Alt key and see what else is there. The important one is their speed. We'll talk about that in a minute. They're 4.9. You can see I've got a speed of 8.5, which means I'll catch them pretty easy. But we'll talk about speed down here later. The other things around, you can see there's a town here, and that town has faction information and so on, but at the moment you can't see anything because we're too far away. So there's lots of these little towns around. The next level up is a castle, and here's one I prepared earlier. So it's owned by somebody as well, and it has information about it. The final thing, or the final one, is the city. Very large, lots of things in it to do. We'll go and explore these in a little while. Let's go back over here to our character for now, and we'll have a quick look around the screen and what's there. So what's on our menu bars and everything like that. Let's start in the bottom right. This bit here, we don't worry about that for now. That's kingdom stuff for later. By the time you get into that stage, you should be well versed in how the game works. We're going to click this little arrow though, and we're going to bring up this bottom section here. This is our general information we keep an eye on without having to open all our menus. So first of all is our gold, and you can see our party wage. It's important to remember that. The next one is our influence. That's important for doing things later in the game as you progress along. Your success is based on influence. There's so much more to that. I just can't talk about it right now. Hit points, base level, you'll get bonuses through skills and stuff that you get. Party size, battle ready troops is 2 at the moment, and wounded troops have got none. Wounded troops recover over time, healing. Here's food. Food's important. If you have 0, you'll have people starting to get pissed off at you, leaving, morale will go down, all that sort of stuff. We've got no food at the moment. We need to sort that out. Morale is, again, you've got to have strong morale or increasing morale. If it's dropping away, once it gets to, that 0 level, you're in trouble, I think. Party speed, this gives you, when you hover over it, information about how fast you move and what your penalties and bonuses are. That becomes relevant once you've fought battles and you've got troops and you're carrying extra gear and all that sort of stuff. Last 2 things are view distance. I don't really worry about that one too much, but it means something for how far you can actually see. And the party wage, as I said before. Down the bottom center here is the date and the day-night marker. And then there's the pause, normal play, and fast forward speed. So this game is sort of turn-based in that if I click play or fast forward here, time will pass until I click pause. But also, if I click somewhere on the map, and I'm going to do it right now, I click here, time passes, and I move, and then it stops. So if I click here, see time passes, and then when I get there it stops. I can pause at any time, keep going, there we go. It stops automatically once I hit my destination, and I can either make it go manually or I can click to go somewhere. A little bit of getting used to, but that's okay. Other things to know. This side here, you've got your menu, some game tips, information, saving, campaign options, that sort of stuff. So you can go in and change things later on if it's too hard. Return to the game. All of these are itemized with a letter key. So Charlie, India, Papa, and Juliet. So if we click the icon or hit the C key or the Charlie key, it gives us a character screen. And I'll talk through this briefly, as brief as I can. It's a fairly complex little screen, this one. First thing first, up the top here is your character. If you click the arrow, you go to the next character in your army or in your faction. It's not even the right term, is it? In your clan. This guy here is your brother. We'll worry about that in a minute. As I said before, you've got those 6 attributes, and it tells you there, no free attribute points at the moment, but that's our attribute scores. So we've got a fair bit in social, nothing much in control. And over this side is our focus points, and focus points apply to all of these. So how does this actually work? At the moment I have 3 in intelligence, and by having 3 in intelligence it means that I have a particular learning rate, which compared to cunning, let's see what it is. So intelligence, do it right, intelligence steward, learning rate at the moment is 7.64. Cunning, scouting, 3.27. Big difference, so steward is going to go up higher, or faster. That's experience. So there's your base experience for your level, and then there's experience for the skill. So when I use one-handed weapons, as I level up that skill, I will get points for it. So what does that actually mean? I'll get points for it. Okay, gain 439 experience by using this skill to level it up. Let's go to one that's got 0. Scouting's got 0. So here we've got the bar of where I currently am at, and it has a hard learning limit. That learning limit is defined by the amount of points that are spent in it. I won't get into too much complexity there, except to say that as I level this up, it will hard cap out there unless I spend a focus point in it to increase where that hard limit is. So if I now go down to Steward, you can see the hard limit is way up here, but because I also spent points in intelligence in my setup, I've already started with a bit of an advantage. On the charm one, you can see that social was 4 points, and I've got a little white grey shield with a 1 on it here. That means I've got a point to spend in that charm one. So we'll go and click on that, and you can see As we've gone up here, we've hit 2 of these markers. The learning limit's way up here. We've hit 2 of these markers and we've got to pick one. So this one here, relation, this one here, Sparta penalty. I'm going to click the relation one. Once I click it and click done here, this is hard set. I cannot come back and change it. Same as all of this, same as where you allocate this point here and any other point you get in the future. So make sure that when you select these, you're selecting what you want, and there's dozens of these damn things. So you need to go through and have a look at it yourself and work it out. There's a limit to how many focus points you can spend in a particular skill, or in a particular focus area. Skills, I suppose they're called, aren't they? So I've got 3 already spent on charm. I can only put 2 more in there. And because I've got a hard limit up here, I've got plenty of padding. I don't need to spend any more right now. I've got this focus point, I've got to work out where it goes. So if I look at these, I don't need any on these ones because they've already got enough for now. Scouting, I'm going to use that straight away as I'm running around. So I might think about putting there. Or tactics. This is my troops in battle. And by the way, if you hit the eye over here, it'll actually give you the information about what happens. Bow is also one I'm going to use early on. Athletics, running around, but that's already got a bit of a skill cap there. So I'm going to add it here. There we go, and you can see it jumped up. I've spent a whole point in there. It's jumped up here. Cool, I've set that up. I'm happy with that. Click done. Hopefully you've understood this anyway, how it actually works. Have a bit of play around with it. And remember, you can reset it while you're in here. If I go across to my brother, I probably should have shown you this. He's got lots of points to spend, so we could go, that one, and then we get this one, whatever, happy with that. He's spend them all the way up, and at the moment he's got no other skills to spend, but that's what I was doing with him, is I could settle these up. He leaves me shortly anyway in the training thing, so it doesn't really matter what I do there. Alright, inventory time, so let's open that one, and the very basics of this. The stuff on the left side is when you're buying, selling, dropping, whatever. Stuff on the right side is your actual inventory. You can see I've got weapons equipped, so a spear and a mace, so I need a shield and stuff. And all the other things I've got here, I've got no gloves, I've got no helmet at the moment. That's your battle outfit. Then you got your civilian outfit, which is what you're in towns. It's pretty much the same at the moment because I've got bugger all. Over here's your inventory capacity. That's increased by troops and horses in particular, and mules. Give you more capacity. Mules are great. And then your encumbrance, which means how much it slows you down here. Gold is listed there as well. We can click done on that. Oh, and you can skip around on your other characters, and we can nick his shield actually. Shh, don't tell anyone. There we go. I've just nicked his shield. What else did he have? Nothing. Probably could steal his horse as well. Yeah, you know what? I'll steal his horse. I actually don't think I get to keep these though. All right, so we can click done, and we're happy there. Party. The next one, because I spent points in intelligence and I got a couple of points in steward, when I go in here it's 25. If I didn't spend that, I would only actually have 22 or 20 here. So I've already got a head start in the game by being able to put my troop limit up to 25 early on. You'll see there it's got quartermaster +5. I'll show you that later once we get a clan happening. On this side is your prisoners, or are your prisoners, and your troops. On this side, troops and prisoners, you're either dumping or you're picking up, and the arrows allow you to drop things backwards and forwards. We'll look at that later. Quest. There's our one quest that we're doing at the moment, it's tutorial, and we don't have these other two. So let's crack on and get this tutorial done, shall we? So it's telling me to run across to this town. I'll talk about what the white disc is and everything else in a minute. We're just going to click on the town and run there. And once we get there, we have a couple of options. We could click on the headman. Let's just close that. We can click on the headman and we go straight to him, or we can take a walk around. We'll have a take a walk around. We can't do anything else because it's a tutorial right now. So let's take a walk around, and it'll take us straight to the headman anyway because it's a tutorial. Sorry, it won't take us to the headman. It takes us to our brother, and then we're going to run in and look at the headman. And as it says on the left, hold the Alt key and we can go find him. So we'll do our little double click here. Take our horse that turns like a truck. And run up the hill towards him. And as we do that, I mean, it's pretty cool, the old village. You can sort of talk to people. It depends on who they are. In this area here, there's no one to talk to because you're just doing a tutorial. We're getting close to him, and then we have the F key tells us to take out some raiders, so we're just going to click through that. I'm not going to let you read that stuff and that. You can do that in your own time. Just going to smash through it quick. And it tells us to leave the mission by holding the Alt Tab key, so we'll do that. And it'll take us back out to that campaign screen. And we have a couple of quest things that we have to do. If we hit the J key, you can see there, recruit troops, we need 4, purchase grain, we need 2. So we've got more options now for the village. Let's close that stuff. We're going to recruit troops. These guys are expensive, but it's for the tutorial, so we're just going to do that. And they're cavalry. And so we've got 8 of 25 at the moment. Thank you for that. And we're going to buy products. It told us to buy grain. If we shift click, buy all of it. So we'll do that. Cool, happy with that. We've purchased grain. And we'll click on the headman. And we'll talk to him like we're supposed to. Straight in. And now he says something about a doctor. And we've got to go back out onto the main map. When we got out here, we've still got the headman as a quest that we've got to finish. And we've got these guys on the map now, and they're red, and that means that they're enemy. If they are more powerful than you, and you get near them, they'll chase you. If they're less powerful than you, and you get near them, they'll run away. These guys, because they're a tutorial, they're just going to stay there. So we'll just click on the nearest one. Oh, sorry, we'll click a leave first. And we'll click on the nearest one, and we're just going to run after him. And we're going to actually have a battle now. So data comes up the top here. These guys are mountain bandits. We've got some horses. Let's see what happens.